Let's go to another plenary session, the second one, and this one is entitled Opportunities for Youth, Gender Equality and Women Inclusion. And I will take the time to ask a woman, a lady, to be the moderator as scheduled. I want to invite Amanda Elo, who is a seasoned broadcaster and every person who will now moderate. Please give her an encouraging welcome. Thank you very much. Amanda, you're welcome. And thank you so much for being here as early as you did.
Thank you very much. Do not mind my shoe. It's a gossip on its own. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Amanda Eloma Obuago. I choose to go with Amanda Elo. I think it's easier for a lot of people. Let me start by saying greetings to His Eminence, Cardinal Nikon, and to every other person here. I'm standing on existing protocol, all protocols duly and respectably observed. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. I need to say this. I am delighted to be in a gathering of youths who are change makers. Bold, wise, enterprising, and most importantly, ordinary youths. Ordinary youths who are doing their best to make Nigeria conducive for themselves. I see you all, and I appreciate your presence here today. Thank you so much for coming. This is a phenomenal event, and I shall do my best to make this conversation as conversational and relative as possible, or relatable to every person here. I see children from secondary schools and primary schools. I don't want us to talk so abstractly that they don't understand what we're saying here today. So I'm going to make sure as much as I can, because I have amazing people on my panel. So when we start talking, I want every person to feel involved. I want you to know that we have real life problems and we are out to solve those problems as much as we can, because we are shaping the future. Before I introduce them, I want you to give a round of applause to my panelists, the persons coming up to join this panel. Thank you so much. Okay, so because my Lord the Archbishop already mentioned that the youths are leaders of today, I'm glad that the persons who I'll be talking with today are youths. Like youth, real life youth. You know when you say youth, like young people like you and I. I have Augustine Achu. I want him to come up and tell you who he is by himself. That's how I want to do it. Augustine Achu, you're welcome. Please a round of applause for him. Thank you so much. Yes. I also have Roya Montasa. Roya Montasa is the lady of the moment, apart from Hafsat, actually. You're welcome. And finally, I have Godfrey Emorilebo. You see how he's dressed like a tech guy. That's what I want here. I want us to have conversations, real life conversations that affect us. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. And while we're at it, I want to say thank you to Boys Champions. This is not easy. This is amazing. Because if we want to make boys better, if we want to make women better humans, I think we should start by the kind of men we train around us. If you have good men, then women do not have to fear for their lives or fear for anything. Yes, I feel so. So I'm glad we're having this conversation today. Thank you so much for coming. We are the panel with the responsibility of 3 distinctive and broad topics, very complex topics. And if you listened, the Archbishop already gave us a warning. Yes, he warned us before we started. We're talking today on opportunities for youths, gender equality and women inclusion. Very delicate topic, and that's what we're going to be doing. Now, before I delve into the topic, I'd like you to introduce yourself, Mr. Augustine Achu. Who are you? Let them know, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for sticking around until now for this conversation, and I hope the panel and the rest of the program will be as interesting as the first panel was. My name is Augustine Achu, Augustine Chidera Achu. I live in the US. I work with a non-profit organization called Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, TAPS for short. We provide pay-based emotional support for those grieving the loss of a loved one in the U.S. military. But on the other side, I am on an international program where we try to bring things like that we have in the States to Nigeria, and that is my own goal. And on the other flip side, as a peace scholar and activist, we also engage in positive peace-building, community development, and for youth empowerment, creating opportunities and advocacy for our young people. I know Noah will frown if I don't say this. I'm a U.S. Marine, and and also, as we have touched upon here, education, very importantly, if you have noticed, is an ongoing process. Someone said it's actually life itself. So I'm also doing my PhD in political science, international relations, in one of the best universities in the world, Howard University, Washington, D.C.
Thank you so much. I hope one day someone would say Nnamdi Azikiwe University, one of the best universities in the world, and we keep moving on. Thank you so much for that. Roya, let's have you.
Hello everybody, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Roya Al-Muntasir, and I'm from Libya. I've worked back home on different causes such as youth empowerment, empowering the private sector and entrepreneurs, empowering women, and conflict resolutions and dialogues in Libya. I met Noel in India, and from all of the places, and I was honored to be invited here and to be amongst you today, and I'm looking forward to this fruitful discussion. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Roya. And over to you, Godfrey.
Hello everyone. So I feel like I'm the only Nigerian based in Nigeria in this panel.
I'm here too. Look at me.
So my name is Godfrey Libo. I run a tech startup called Curiosity Exploring that started sometime last year after the president came out on national television and said that Nigerians will graduate from good universities with good degrees and the government would not be able to provide jobs for them. So that thought alone provoked us into forming a community of developers that try to tackle real world problems and learn from there. I'm very grateful to be here, and I hope that we shape the future well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So we're starting with opportunities for youths, and I think you all were chosen here for a reason because you're change makers, you're already doing something, right? And so the very first question we have here is, how have we provided seats for the young people at the table? I wish we had like a politician here because I really want to ask that question to a politician, but let's start with all of us here. We have a tech guy, we have a woman empowerment person, we have you who's empowering different youths in different parts of the world. Now when we talk of empowerment, I think Chike asked that question, what do we even mean by empowerment? So how have we provided seats for the young people at the table? It could be metaphorical. What have you done for the youths so far? What should we put into consideration as far as putting them on the table is involved?
So, well, I know I'm not towing Dr. Nkechi's, Professor Nkechi's line on politics, on who is a politician. I know I am not a politician by profession. I read political science. I'm studying under political science and all of those things. Before I left Nigeria, I was really active in politics. If you know my roots, you will understand why I said that. But I am sure that creating a space or getting the youth to the table demands a particular thing which we can actually decipher and break it down into different things. And what does that mean? It's engagement. The youth, we have been used to this idea that was forced upon us. We didn't create that by ourselves, that we are rather instruments of violence rather than instruments of change, advocates of positive change. So we have always been used to that idea that we only come in when the guy on the top says, oh, I don't like this result is not in my favor, and then we come in and do the brouhaha and all of those things. We've been used to that. But that is not engagement, and that is not how we get to the table. And I believe for the past few months now, we have seen, or we are seeing something, a semblance that looks like what we should be doing. And we should all recognize the fact that they said power is not given, it is what? Is taken. And it's easier for us to take power, but we have to recognize that. So to create that opportunity on the table, I would say as my own opening speech is staying engaged, or first of all, being engaged, staying engaged, and never back out. Because guess what? Mr. Frank Nweke knows this as much as the general and your eminence. They will always want to force us out. If you don't know, now know it. They will want to frustrate us that we don't have the money. They will want to frustrate us that we don't have the what? Who can tell me that?
Structure.
The structure. What else? What other structure do you need other than go register and have a voter's card? They will want to frustrate us with that, but say what? No. So we come to the table, determine, don't mistake it. Some of our youth will also sell us out. But when they get there and sell us out, what do? We record them. The power is in our own hands. So let us create the opportunity for ourselves to get to the table, stay at the table. When they want to frustrate us, we tell them we are not going nowhere. For what? Tomorrow is what? Today. So pretty much get engaged, stay engaged, and so what? Do not back down from being engaged.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I want a round of applause for him, please. Really, I would like to ask you next, but I would like to skip you for a reason, because yes, I'm coming for you. Let's go to the tech guy. So you're in tech, and we've got youths, so many of them. We're talking unemployment, we're talking of people transitioning from this to that in order to make ends meet. So I want to know, what have you done, you, as a tech startup manager? That's who you are, right? Yes. What have you done so far for the youths around you?
Okay, I think that's the best question anybody has asked me in a while.
Oh my God.
So, all right, so sometime last year, the president came out on national television and said, you graduate from Nigerian universities and have good degrees and the government will not be able to provide jobs for you. And it hit me personally because I have a lot of friends. I kind of grew up in the north, and then I started working in Lagos first, and then I worked in Onitsha too. So I kind of have a cycle of friends around the country. And so I spoke with my co-founder, he's sitting somewhere behind though, and I asked, how do we be part of the solution? How do we come in now and try to solve problems? Because at that point, I was working for like 3 companies. I'm head of research and development for a New York company called Yokumbo. And then they are saying in Nigeria that you will not have jobs even if you graduate from school. So what's that? So we created a Google form. That's how we started trying to solve the problem. We created a Google form that said, hey, you want to be part of a group of a community of people that don't care about your current level of education, your age, the skin color you have, or whether you're smart or not smart. You want to be part of this group of developers, then sign this form and let's form a community. And in less than 3 days, we had 283 people sign up from 27 out of the 36 states in Nigeria, and about 6 other foreigners from Africa and then Europe. And it was amazing because initially I didn't think we would have that kind of number. I was thinking like 10, you know. So from there we started from the very rudiments. In Sound of Music, they say that the best way to start is to start from the very beginning. And that's where we started. So the concept of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the things you need to be a programmer. So that's how we started. And we kept going. But now in the context of solving real world problems, so if we want to learn something, we look at a problem in society, and then from that point, we start asking ourselves, what do we need to know so that we can build this? And we keep building until we get it to finish. So that's what we've done.
Okay, and that's impressive. Thank you so much. A round of applause for him, please. Amazing. Roya, you work with women, right, as far as empowerment is concerned. It is one thing to be a youth, and it is another to be a woman who is a youth. I don't want to add black. Let's leave that part. But let me ask you, how has it been for you as a woman who is trying to empower other women? What do you see? How does it go for you, and how does it go for those women you try to work with?
Well, excellent question. Thank you, Amanda. I can say that it's not easy. It's not easy being a woman, first, and then being a woman who is ambitious, a woman who wants to build a career in a culture, because my culture and society is similar to yours, so I understand the struggles, or at least some of the struggles. I think that it's important for women to inspire and to also be empowered to make the change, whether it was in a company or as an influencer or as a activist in the society. And I will start by saying a real life story that I'm basically one of the see, I told you.
Yeah, I feel you.
I am the one woman in my company that is ahead of the department.
Wow.
The youngest. Now that's not easy. You would think people trying to make assumptions about how you got there or how you are in the place that you are.
Yeah.
But don't let that affect you. You got there because you deserve it. You got there because you are worth it. And I think it's very important to highlight the importance of boys and men to support this. Because I think this is it's a very interesting thing to discuss gender roles in general. Because you see, it's not just a fight for women, it's also a fight for men. Because you see, hi guys, you have sisters, you have mothers, you have daughters. So that's also a fight for you and your family and your loved ones, for you to make. And I think that the idea of educating and enlightening boys and men to support that cause is very, very important. And I think it starts with communication and fruitful dialogue, because that's how it goes. It's not an argument between me and him. It's not that's not how you resolve or go to a conclusion that is effective. The dialogue should go as a communication, a conversation that we both wish to conclude to something that will help us both to hold our places in the society. And I think this is the key. This is the key to how this should work and to make a successful, result of the conversation.
Okay. So I'm going to, a round of applause for her, please. I'm going to move to the next one, which is basically gender-based violence and all of that. But like I said, I'm interested in persons here understanding what we're saying. And there is somebody here who's watching this who's saying, I want to be like Roya. There's somebody watching right now who wants to be like Augustine. There's somebody looking at the tech guy who wants to be like the tech guy. So before we delve into gender, because it's always a buzz boost thing, before we delve into gender talk, I want each of you to maybe tell people just quickly some of your greatest challenges in your field and how you were able to surmount these problems and you're standing tall today. Let's start with you, Augustine.
Well, in my field, I'm in a lot of fields.
Pick one.
And when you, let me just put it out there. When you are in the military, when they say field, it's really wild out there. Oh. But in the real wild world, it's always a field, right? And the challenges that I faced, that I am still currently facing, because some of them, they come in different shapes and forms. They remain the same, and they are peculiar to each and every one of you. I was like you. I'm not going to lie to you. Don't be deceived by this. I was somewhere like you before I got to this, and that's what I always tell people. If I can get to this, It's only a matter of time and the right calculations. So why I'm saying this is because since 2008, I have been in tertiary institution. The only time off I had was when I went to NYSC, 2013-2014. And when I graduated with my second master's degree, 2019 to 2020. That was my only time off from school, from university. So my challenges has been around getting myself sharpened up to become who I am. And some of those challenges, that's why I said, is the same thing that you are facing, you are passing through. Being able to be consistent. We always hear this word about consistency, right? But it is not easy to demand of yourself to be consistent. I can easily say, come on, can you be consistent for once? If you say you're going to do this, why don't you do it? But how about yourself? You have to go to school, you have an exam, and all of those things. How consistent are you in studying? It's a challenge to sit down to study, especially when you have a lot of things. Because even before I graduated from undergrad in Imo State University, I already started a business. I started an event management business. I was making cakes, decorating places, and planning weddings and whatever thing you can, like some event. I was doing all of those things and at the same time studying. So how do I become consistent in my study? Because at that, a few months ago that I changed my career path, which is another thing that you have to understand. You may not be able to figure it all out, but just one step at a time, incremental steps. A few months ago, I started a few months ago, I wanted to be who? I wanted to be a professor. I wanted to teach, and that's why you see me bachelor's, 1 master's, 2 masters, now a PhD.
It's impressive.
So, I wanted to do all of these things, but I have to remain consistent in order to go through all of those.
Okay.
So, for that, if you remain consistent, have realistic plans. Don't give in to peer pressure. You may be able to get there, not exactly how you wanted, but then it will pay off. But then as a practitioner, you have the challenges of dealing with other people. People of your age, people below you, and people above you. How are you able to manage the consistency of the relationship that you have with them? You find out that in everything it's about consistency, especially in our today's world, where a man that is maybe as a 30-something-year-old guy, a man that is just like 10 years above you wants you to like fall down on the floor before he could actually accept a resume. It's your CV to even submit. How do you manage that relationship? And yourself, giving a helping hand, as little as you think you are, you can give a helping hand. And how do you deal with your own peers? All of these things are all calculated steps, incremental enough for you to get to a level. So if you can manage these challenges, as I am trying my best to do, because they will always be there. If I went through them, if I am still going through them, my brother, you will even go through more. And for that reason, I would say consistency is the biggest challenge that I have to face. And I'm not saying this because I'm the master consistent. No. But because I tried my best, And I think my best is paying off gradually. So if you could use through my own eyes of the way I manage consistency, I dealt with my consistency issues. Not because you know exactly as I did it, but knowing that it could be done. I guess you can surmount that challenge.
All right, thank you so much. Consistency. I've had consistency over intensity any day, wherever you are. So keep trying. Roya, let's talk about your challenge so far with, how have you dealt with it?
I would like to start by saying believing in yourself. As youth, we have a lot of doubts. And these doubts are confirmed by all around us, by elders who are in power, who are telling us, no, you cannot be where I am today because I know better, because I have more experience, because I'm wiser. And that's true, and they are. And that's why I want to just follow on what the bishop said, that we need to show them the way out. We need to prove ourselves. Because you see, if we want power, and power comes with great responsibilities, we need to prove that we are there, that we can lead, And that's, I think, as youth, we take for granted, because not just because we're youth, then that therefore means that we need to educate ourselves. We need to empower ourselves by ourselves and by elders who are, I don't want to call them elders because I think that's a bit rude, but I want to call them wise people we can learn from them. And then after we will learn from them, and after we prove to them that we are up to the challenge, then we can nicely show them the way out. And I think I just want to follow back on the fact that I think believing in ourselves is really, really important. And having all of these doubts, all of that inner voices in our head telling us that no, you cannot be what you want to be, is something very frustrating. And that's why I would like to ask everybody here today, do you believe that you can actually, really, you can make the change that you want? If you do, raise your hand. Do you actually think, okay, good. To some extent, really yes, good. Very good. Yeah. I think that's very important, and I think we need to surround ourselves by people who can empower us and tell us that, yes, by parents who will tell us that, okay, you want this, then there you go, disciplines, by teaching us all of these values for us to pursue what we want and pursue it in the right way.
Over to you right now. Thank you so much, Roya, please. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm very impressed with the answers already. I think they've said all the things I'm supposed to say. So I'm going to use practicals now to try to answer my own questions. The challenges we faced and how we are trying to surmount them. So sometime when we started, at some point we noticed that interest was waning in our community. And so how do we bring that interest back? We ended up learning how to build cryptocurrency tokens. And we built a Mori coin under the Solana blockchain as a way of sending incentive, that's tokens, to people inside the community when they do assignments. You get. It worked amazingly because it sparked back the interest that was waning, and people started learning how to code faster. People were more engaged. People were trying to unblock their fellow friends, because remember this, we are a community of people from various backgrounds and ages, you see. So I have my small cousin who is about 4 years or 5 years old inside. I also have my mom inside, you see, and lecturers as well. So it's amazing. You have to figure out a way to bring people's interests together. That's one of the things we did. Now, immediately we jumped into blockchain. It became more exciting because before then, we were just hearing blockchain like Bitcoin and just that. But once we got there, we started seeing that the world would become a better place if more applications were built on the blockchain, because it's more trustworthy, it's more transparent. And so the next thing we started doing was thinking about how to migrate applications that were already built into the blockchain. We were successful in migrating Raven. Raven was more like, think about it like an e-commerce platform. But we were able to migrate it into Web 3.0, which makes it a blockchain application. And how that works and the advantages that has it's mind-blowing. Because now a shop owner inside the platform owns his or her account. So depending on your rating, your reviews, your history, and the things your goodwill you have and all, you can decide to sell your shop. It is your own, so you have freedom. The next thing we did was we looked at a chat platform we were trying to build and learn from. We called it Explorer. Now, the Explorer, think about it like something like WhatsApp. But we now decided that these new skills we've learned, which is the blockchain thing, let's try to add it into this application. And what we ended up doing was build an application that your chat can become a story. You own your chat, so your chat can become a story. Instead of WhatsApp and probably selling out those your chats, you have the right to sell it yourself. So if you think that the content you generate makes a whole lot of sense, you can click a button and make it into an NFT. What NFT is non-fungible token, and for that reason, you can sell it out. Like, if you feel like it, you see, you can sell it out and be like, hey, so is there anyone interested in this kind of story? I have a story to sell. And you can sell it and get money from it. Your own money, not us now, not like the organization, like what WhatsApp does. And the third, and I think this is the biggest thing we are doing right now, is so we own the YouTube channel. Of course, we were training people. Why shouldn't we? And in that YouTube channel, there were sessions where we do tutorial videos, and but we also owned another part, like a playlist, where we talk about issues in Nigeria. Remember, we were provoked into existence when the president said, you will graduate and government will not be able to provide jobs for you. So we had this session, this playlist up where we talk about issues in Nigeria and how we feel we can use the power of tech to solve that problem. And on one of the videos, we talked about the election system in Nigeria, how the way it's structured and the way it's built, it's not right for a lot of reasons. Number one, why will you finish election in Nigeria and you have to wait for 3 or 4 days before collisions happen, when a JavaScript function can do that with just one line of code and in a split second? And then you expect all the vice chancellors to go to Abuja in this bad road. I traveled from Abuja to here and we were knocked, like they hit us like 4 or 5 times. Our bumper is broken, we are trying to fix it. The roads in Nigeria are terrible. Now, how do you expect, what happens to those vice chancellors that are collation officers when they are traveling on other routes? Like, it was not making any sense. And so we had this video of trying to reach out to INEC and say, hey, so we think the current system you have is not very good. We might be able to do something better if we translate this into a Web3 platform, because it becomes more trustworthy. It becomes more transparent. It is on a blockchain, so everybody sees exactly what is happening. Here's the funny thing to it. Like, in less than 2 days after that video was up, our YouTube channel was completely dropped, suspended. And we reached out to YouTube and said, hey, so we've not broken any of your rules yet. Can you bring back our channel? Because even though, if you might have issues with that video, there are other videos that we've put in so much manpower to build, and people are actually learning from it from across the world. Can you bring back our channel? And we also added this, that because YouTube says on their terms and conditions that the only reason your channel will be suspended is if you have 3 strikes, like if you break their rules and you have 3 in less than 90 days. So we added this and said, hey, so we've not broken anyone yet. That's number 1. Number 2, even if we have broken, we've not broken 3. Number 3, it's not 90 days yet. Can you bring back our channel? And YouTube reached back to us and said, we've seen your appeal and your account is still suspended.
Oh.
To have that kind of comment, so I'm trying to answer your question correctly. To have that kind of comment come from YouTube, we felt like Google was the center of everything tech, you see. So to have that kind of comment come from YouTube it was terrible for us, because it meant that the tech world is not where it should be yet. It does not have that freedom, that democracy yet. Because here we are trying to solve a problem and then you're dropping our channel, so we can't. And so we decided, this is how we decided to move forward. We went all super regulatory and decided to build a platform that looks like YouTube. We are in the process of doing it. We know it's heavy, we know it's big. We know that it's too much work for us, but come on, why shouldn't we? At least we should give it a try and give it the best shot we can. And we are doing an amazing job there, because it has more important things than what I think the current YouTube has, because you as the account owner of a channel on the platform will have the right to do everything. Unlike YouTube, you will not have to wait until you have 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers before you start earning royalty from your channel. From the very start, as you're doing things on the channel, you start earning your cryptocurrency while you are on the platform.
What's the name of the platform again?
We are still working on it, but we intend to call it Grasp.
Okay.
And it's amazing because that has gotten the attention of FCDO, that's Foreign Commonwealth, Development Office. They organized a global symposium last month, October, and they invited us. And we told them about it. They've seen some of the things we are doing, and they are so amazed about it and want to host the next symposium on our platform. So here's my answer to the question you asked. More challenges always comes, like it always comes. You have to have the mindset that makes you get used to those challenges. Like, let your mind be such that, okay, they will come. The beauty of living is how do you keep growing from them and learn from it. Okay. That's my answer. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. How you build amazing things from your challenges. You know, you turn your sorrow to joy. That's amazing. Let's move now to gender conversations. We're going to be taking your questions very soon, but let's just, say something really quick, because I feel we've spent a lot here. Quickly, we're talking about gender, we're talking about the boy child, we're talking about the girl child. We've had women accept some things. I was in a car the other day and a woman said, see, if your man cheats, it's not a problem. The problem is he should not show you who he's cheating with. This person is comfortable with this life. Yes. And she was telling me that. We've had women tell men, you don't cry, you don't do this. And these things are part of the problem, foundational issues. I want us to quickly, please, because we do not have time, each and every one of us, how do you think we can end violence and discrimination against women? That's it. You can have.
I believe that the issue of ending gender-based violence is a commitment for all. It's not a one-man thing. It's not a march for women. It's not a campaign for just young ladies or something like that. It's an all hands on deck kind of a thing. But more especially, there's something Noah started, which is Boys Champion. And I think he's trying to turn their attention to something that is, non-conventional, which is the idea that, do you know if we actually get the boys right, it will be a lot more easier for the society to thrive. It will be a lot more easier for ladies, for the girl child to thrive in the society. And that is my own, because I'm a man. And I totally agree that some of the things that my sister, as a girl child, Roya, and anyone that is a female here, I may not understand the thing the way you're seeing it, and same with the way I see it. But from my own standpoint, as a man, I have to make an enabling environment. It's something Roya mentioned. It is not an argument; it is a conversation, and for that sake, as a guy, as a boy, as a man, however you want to identify yourself, as a dude, you have to be able to consciously, I mean it by the word consciously, you have to consciously know that the world is already skewed to your favor. Mm-hmm. I asked a friend of mine this question one time. I said, do you know that I haven't seen that religion. I haven't seen that religion that doesn't have a male figure up there. It's always we don't know what God looks like, right? So we painted God with this white old man with big beard, right? Why didn't we say this white old woman with, I don't know, no hair on her head? The Buddhists, the Muslims, everything is about the man. The man is a patriarchal world, no matter how much you want to say it. Even when you go to those traditions that women can marry more than one man, it's still, a man at the top somehow. So as a man, you have to consciously recognize that the world has been skewed to your favor. And because the world has been skewed to your favor already, you should be making an enabling environment for conversations that will enable the advancement. Hey, check it out. You will get married one day. Oh, I don't want to be married. I want to be like His Eminence. There's no problem. You will be dealing with Reverend Sisters and nuns. No, you know what? Let me just remain celibate. Well, the world is not made of only men. So whichever way you turn, there's a woman right there that needs recognition. And don't be mistaken also. At some point, the woman will be your oga, the woman will be your oga, does not mean that you have to find a way to fight her. You have to recognize it at all times. Because, see, it is not the gender-based violence and the gender issues that we're talking about. It's not about how much do you have? No. It's not about no, it's about the realities of life. As a man, you already, as just the moment you drop like this, your social capital is a certain level as against that of a woman. No matter how rich you are as a woman, no matter how poor you are as a man, the society just sees us differently. And for that reason, that enabling environment is needed. Create that conversation. Don't go making arguments and critiquing how it should be and how it should not be. It's actually a conversation. Get into conversations with your fellow. See, I'm tired of the fact of let's bring them to the table. Let's ask them how to come to the table, because on how to get themselves there.
That's impressive. Thank you so much. Let's have Godfrey talk. I want you to end it. Let's have Godfrey. Godfrey, please. How do we end it? As a tech guy, because I know you have ladies there with you. How do we do something about women, please?
I don't know.
Ah, my brother.
Okay, so to be more serious,
Yeah.
I feel like the tech gives us opportunity to be to have equality and freedom. I feel like when you write with codes, the codes are zeros and ones at the end of the day, and everything is equal at the end. So you write codes, but whatever codes you write, they are always equal with the one a woman will write. So there's supposed to be equality. So my answer to that question is, let's all of us go to tech and we should be able to have equality there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, tech the equalizer. Let's have you now, Roya.
Well, this is a very triggering topic to a lot of people. Gender equality, gender roles, and all of that. So I think the best way to tackle it is, ladies, let's imagine we're born a guy, a man in this world. Do you think you would let everything that you were just given by nature, just so convenient to you, up so easily? You would let all of your rights, the privilege that you have, let go of it so easily? Well, then that's how you can understand why men are so reluctant to give it us up. But let's go to men. Gentlemen, hey, let's imagine you're a woman. How would you deal with all of your rights being questioned, all of your day-to-day life being, scrutinized and questioned and minimized, your basic needs being asked if they're needed or not for you, and all of these questions? Would you be okay with that? Do you think you can relate? Do you think would want to change the way that women are now asking for change? So that is the real question, because it's a 50-50% that you will be born a woman or a man. So if you were just lucked out, and I don't want to be, because that's the thing, if I was, I asked myself this, if I can choose what gender do I want to be, I would still be a woman. Because you know why? Because I think that if I was a man, I would be so privileged and so blinded by that privilege that I would not see. I don't want to say an idiot, but I will, borderline. Because I will not see what I can see as a woman. I will not be exposed to the, I don't want to say suffering, because I don't want to dramatize an experience for all women, but we do suffer. We do, we do go through it. So I would not go through it if I was a man. And that's something that I appreciate. And because of that, I asked that question for every man to consider. If you were a woman, how would you deal with that? And for every woman to understand why men are being so reluctant to give up that power. So yeah, thank you.
All right, okay, thank you so much. apparently, I know some people will be complaining, why do we keep talking about the women? If you've been with a good man before, if you've been in a company of good men before, you'd understand why we should have these conversations. There are women who are suffering, and I don't understand why, because I grew up with good men. And I want us to have these conversations over and over again till everybody understands that this is their responsibility, and make it conducive for not just the women, for themselves. Because if you give that leveling ground from the foundation, you can express yourself as a man. You can do what we will no longer expect you to just bring money to the table. We would expect more from the man. When they ask, what can a man bring to the table? A lot of people do not know. Some say money. I think you can do more than that. So it is when you start treating us well, if you start treating the women around you well, the girl child around you well, that we begin to understand the value you as a man are embedded with. I hope we make Nigeria a better place. John F. Kennedy would say, do not think of what the government will do for you, but what you do for the government. But that is in a working system. I'm sorry if I've offended anybody. We have the responsibility, because we've talked of opportunities for youth, we have the responsibilities, you and I have the responsibility of making this country a better place. So whatever you do today, wherever you are, please strive to represent, to make it better. All right, because we would have the next group of leaders emanate from us. And if we don't make it better for them, nobody will make it for us. Thank you so much for joining us here. And I thank my panelists. It's been amazing having you here. Thank you so much for joining me. Once again, I'm Amanda Elo, and I want you to enjoy every bit of this conference. God bless you. Oh yes, we couldn't take questions. Apparently it seemed everything we said, we've exhausted a lot of things. So Vaughn is coming up next for that.
Please appreciate them. Put your hands together for them.